She was a grumpy 7-year-old when she met me. She had come to my office with her mother. I was babysitting her. Today, she's a star. Balancing a career in music and 3 different film industries. Shruti Hassan can talk about anything under the sun. But today, we'll chat about her.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
My Pondati or my wife.
Yes,
as they
your
call it.
BV. Don't say Pondati.
Yeah, BV because yes.
Actually Pondati.
Yes. Pondati. You keep calling me your Amdyan.
It's because you're Iyengar and I'm Iyengar. And we're both creative. And there's a very high chance that nobody will marry either of us. So it's a really good plan C, I think.
It's a plan C, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. I would have thought it would have been a plan F or something, but yeah.
No,
C
no,
is good
C
enough.
only. My prospects are not so bright also.
But I've often heard you say that you were quite weird as a child. And weird is the word that you use. so-
Yeah, I was weird and now I've converted that into eccentric as I've grown older. But I was definitely a weird child. And I actually liked it because my parents were also kind of eccentric. So they encouraged the weirdness. And as I've grown up, I've just learned to own the weirdness and say it's okay.
But when you say weird, what exactly do you mean? Like, what do you...
There are so many examples. No.
A few.
No, I was just different from, I guess, the kids around me. And I was just sort of crack, which I still am.
But is that got to do with the fact that you were Kamal Hassan and Sarika's daughter? I mean, how normal could that be?
No, actually, mum was that typical mum, like in terms of discipline and doing things the right way. And my dad was more free thinking and liberated in that sense. So mum was pretty much very strict till I was about, I think, 16 or 17. And then she had to give up because then I went through my whole like rebellion phase. I was so pensive and well-mannered. I had a book. Otherwise, I'm rollerblading quietly or training for my running. And I was very, very good. Ji Mama Ji, Haan Ji Bapu Ji was very like the normal. I don't know, some short circuit happened in my brain one day and I was like, no, I don't want to be so nice. And then that rebellion has still never ended.
Yeah, it's still not ended. I can
No.
see in many ways it sort of
Yeah.
manifests itself and
Yeah.
it comes out in...
Maybe when I find my Haan Ji, Bilkul Ji, I might tone down again.
So you never encountered a space where they felt that, oh my God, she's Kamal Hassan's daughter, so let's get friendly to her, or that, oh, what was your life like curiosity amongst
Yeah,
your
but I have a nose for something that's going to stink always. So I kind of have been able to fend them off, I think. And also a lot of people who'd be like, oh, are you Kamal Hassan's daughter? And I'll be like, no. And I had this fake alias, like I'm Pooja Ramachandran, Dr. Ramachandran's daughter. Because I just didn't want to deal with it as a kid. Now I want people to recognize me and they don't. So it's irritating.
Why don't they recognize
I
you?
think I look very different without makeup. And I also dress differently. And I'm also quite a fun teacher in life. So they don't.
But how was your relationship like with your father? Was he like a hands-on father or was he...
Well, he was really busy. And that's something we always understood ever since I was a kid, that he's making movies and that's the priority and he's an artist. And so I never felt, oh, my daddy didn't come for sports day. It never really bothered me. But whenever he was around, it's some of the best memories I have. He's influenced me a lot in terms of how I am as a person, and especially artistically and creatively, he's been my greatest influence.
But any illustration, like at that time, he might have said something to you that was so alien at that point for you to understand. But today you understand the meaning of
It's
it.
always, there's so many examples, Ninju. I can't even tell you, like, for example, oh, can I call you Ninju?
Yes, you
okay. No, there's so many examples, and especially because he was so liberated. He was not like, I am your father, I'm saying no, so no. He'll explain it in a way, he treated me like an adult since I was a kid. One thing he's, I think, very, very clear about from the beginning, which I think I lost my way a little bit, is he'll always, ever since I was a kid, he was like, you're not answerable to anyone but yourself. Like, don't go by society's versions of what is ethical or moral. You have to, be okay with your conscience at night. And as long as you're not in denial or you're not justifying things unnecessarily, you have the thought process, think for yourself, question everything. And as a kid, you're like, yeah, but it really, really does make sense. Today, I am answerable only to myself, and I'm very proud of the life I've made.
And how different was your mother's viewpoint about these things?
For her, it was much more about maintaining a sense of normalcy and exposing us to experiences that are very, I would say, middle class and upper middle class in terms of upbringing, especially in a place like Chennai. But the good thing she gave me is a great music collection, because she has the greatest taste in music. So a lot of the amazing music I listen to earlier on in my life, like Pink Floyd and David Bowie and stuff, was all her favorite stuff.
And then you started learning Hindustani classical music. Was it during that time?
No, when I was about 14, because my math grades were so bad. I got 2 on 100, and my mum realized that there's no way this girl is going to pass her board exams. And tada, there was this mathematics fairy who said, "Don't worry, you don't have to do this." And for ICSE, I did music instead of math, and that's where my love for classical music was really born.
But then at that point when you fell in love with music and when that became such an integral part of your life, did the acting gene sort of take a backseat? Did you feel that
Fully.
you didn't want to be an actress and you
I
wanted
felt I didn't want to because I didn't think I was pretty enough, honestly. I knew I could act. I always knew that even though I was atrocious in my first film, I knew I could act.
So then when was it that you decided that you will have a rock band?
So I was always in band since I was 16 actually. So I loved that experience of being in a band. It's a kind of unity and a brotherhood that you can't even experience on a movie set. The kind of bond that you have between 5 band members and traveling together and this kind of non-verbal communication is till date one of the best relationship I've ever had. It's probably with my bandmates. So when I was about 16, I used to do it casually. When I went to music school and came back, I formed my first band.
You went to LA to a
Yeah,
music
to music
school,
school.
right?
And I came back and I formed my first band with my best friend.
But when was it that the transition happened between being a rock star and considering that, okay, I can be an actress now? Is it because during this rock phase you got a lot of attention and you felt that you were pretty and you could look pretty?
Actually, I felt pretty only in America because they're like, "Oh my God, you're so exotic. I love the color of your skin." And I was like, "Really? Oh, awesome. Okay." And then they were like, "Oh, you have a really nice bum." And I was like, "Oh, okay, nice." I was like, "I love America. I'm the prettiest in America. I'm going to live here forever." You also feel skinnier in America, like no matter how fat you get, because there's always my auntie from Texas who is much bigger than you. So I loved it there, and I was like, but I never took my looks as a part of acting. I still don't.
So how did you decide that you would be an actress?
Because I wanted to move out of home, actually. I've always had a passion for cinema, but it happened at a time which was just very... So Imran was, is a friend of mine, so I said, I want to move out of home and I don't mind acting. It was literally that simple. And my whole
I
life
don't mind acting, I like that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't mind acting. Theek hai, role kya? It's okay, you know it's nice. No, okay, let's do it. That's literally how I did my first film. Because I'd lived alone in the US and I couldn't bear living with so many people. So I was like, I want my own place. And my dad's always been like, if you make a choice in life, then you pay for it, you are responsible for it. And if you live under my roof, these are the rules, this is how you live. So he's always been a very American dad like that. So he was like, okay, go do your own thing. If you feel you're really going to fall, call.
There's an incident from your childhood which I know of and which I wanted to ask you about. I believe that you had attended a Filmfare Awards with your dad because you were a big fan of Shah Rukh, and then when he didn't introduce you to him, you were sulked with him for a week.
There's actually a backstory to that, which is that in Hyderabad there was a Filmfare Awards show, and I had gone to collect my dad's award, and my mum had, I know my mother loves me, but I don't know why she made me wear that frock. And then someone then put pearls on top of it, and I really did look like some sort of a human cupcake. Yet I wanted to go and tell Shah Rukh Khan that I loved him because I really, really loved him. And I went to the loo and then I got stuck in the loo for reasons I cannot share on television. And when I came out, he had already left. So I missed the opportunity then. And then I thought by the next Filmfare Awards, now I will make my dad introduce. My dad introduced everybody. Like short of my gardener, he introduced everyone and forgot to introduce me. I think he did it on purpose. But I was so upset, I literally did not speak to him for a week. And then I still have like a very soft spot, but I outgrew that phase, definitely. But I even had Bazigar pants. Like, it was not the kind of love, like, I want to marry him. Like, I almost wanted to be him. Like, it was not normal. Like, I cut my hair like him. I had those mustard-colored Bazigar pants. My mom had to make those for me. So, yeah, I had a major Shah Rukh Khan fixation as a kid.
So how does it feel now because you're in the Hindi film
still
industry
feels
and
very
you
weird.
meet them and now you meet them as Shruti Hassan and you don't need anybody to
No,
introduce you.
there are certain people like Like tomorrow, even if I won like an Oscar and a Grammy, I would still like see him and I'd be like, hello.
But how much of a pressure it is in Chennai specifically to be Kamal Hassan's daughter? Do you really find yourself altering any part of your personality?
Fortunately, my dad's been a rebel from day one. His image has been of an artistic rebel. So I think I've taken after my dad there. So I have a good excuse.
So he's treated his life quite unconventionally also, and I think his split also happened at a time when you and Akshara were both growing up.
Yes.
How did that impact you? I mean, how did you treat it, and how was it treated for you?
For me, it's never easy. But if two people aren't getting along, there's no reason for them to be together. And I was never one of those kids who like, मेरे सपने में आप दोनों बहुत खुश थे. Was never the case. And if they were not working out, they weren't working out. And fortunately, touchwood, by God's grace, I had that maturity when I was very young. Was it the most convenient thing? No. But I'm much happier that they did split because sometimes being together is much more nuclear and detrimental to the kids in a family than people not split.
So did they sit you and Akshara down? Akshara probably was much younger. So
Yes, she was much younger, and it was actually my mum and I who sat and explained everything to Akshu. But I kind of knew from an early age that something's wrong. So you know, it was okay. I mean, I was happy as long as they're happy. And today they're both very content in their individual, separate lives. And I'm happy to see my mum is doing so well. She's working. She's living life on her terms. My dad is happy. He's working. He's doing his thing. So everyone's doing good.
I'm sure as a teenager, it must have been more important to look better because you did have your nose altered, and
Yes.
and you've been pretty open about it, which is
Yes.
not something that you normally see in celebrities or
Yes.
stars. So was
Well,
there
because my old nose was really big, and if I lie about it, then people will think I'm mentally retarded. But I got it fixed because I broke it. I broke it twice, once during basketball and one more time, which was quite embarrassing for me, but I attacked someone from behind when I was in school. And so when it was completely not a functional nose, I was always breathing through my mouth and it didn't look good. So it was a combination of being physically very difficult and aesthetically not very nice for me to look at myself every day. I didn't fix it for the longest time, and my parents were like, why are you stuck up on this nose? It's not like Barbara Streisand where you were born with this nose, you broke it. Go fix it. And I did my whole first film moving my nose around to suit the angle of the camera. Finally, it was only after my first film that I actually changed my nose.
But you said a little while earlier that throughout your growing up years, you never felt attractive at all, and you felt that you were not the one who would get all the male attention. Is that true?
It's really true. My best friend asked me out on Valentine's Day out of sympathy because I would play cricket with the boys and kabaddi with the boys, and I was really one of the guys. I think I still am. And yeah, now it's just the hair and the makeup and the clothes.
But is it true
So-
that the guy who asked you out, who's also your close friend, got beaten up because he asked you
he got whacked, yeah. Because I was so offended that he would demean our friendship with something as shallow as a crush. Like, it was horrible. So he got a whack. But I think it's very sweet that he felt so bad for me. Yeah. So that was hey, you'll be my Valentine, no? Like, he also asked me like
almost
that.
as if asking you to
Yeah,
say no.
like, you know, I have to get that shot, no, for malaria. It was like that.
How has it changed now that you have ample male attention? And
People still don't ask me out, Ninjo.
And why is
Because
that?
I've become scarier, I think.
But you were always scary, I'm sure. I mean, who would imagine that a girl who's into heavy metal and reading like graphic novels at the age of 12? So I'm sure I can imagine that boys didn't want to ask you out. But now I think that there's a lot of change in you
Where
as a
are they?
person.
Please, where are these boys
From
able
what
to
I
be?
hear, there are quite a few.
Nothing of the sort. No one asked me out, and I'm fortunate for that because it's really horrible to turn someone down like
But
that.
why would you assume that everybody who would ask you out would need to be turned down?
That's a good point. Touche. No, but mostly, yeah, what to do?
But why do you think that is the reason? Why do you think they don't ask you out? Or why do you feel you intimidate them, if you do, that is?
They say it's, I don't know, some people say I'm scary. Some people say
But
I'm
scary what? Like, you're definitely not
If I
scary
knew, I would
looking.
have changed it, no, Ninju. I don't know. I think, unfortunately, relationships have become about needing someone and coexisting like a fungus on a mushroom. So then it becomes like difficult for me to be the fungus on anybody's mushroom.
And you don't think that's possible in the present space or present phase of your life?
No, because right now I love myself more than anything else.
And you're sure that this attitude is because of the work and not because, I mean, it's not like you've not had relationships
maybe
in
I'm
the
just
past.
messed up.
No, it's not like you've not had relationships in the
I
past.
have.
You have had. Your name has
Yes.
been linked up with quite a few people.
Not those people, yeah, but I. Yeah.
But how much has that caused this decision? Like you know, you go through things and then you feel, okay, no, I think I should give this a break for a while, maybe.
I'll tell you what relationships are like to me. So when you're in school and you learn maths, and I hated math, as I've already said, so I reiterate that fact. You say, when will I ever need to know subtraction or addition in life? And pretty much most of your life, you can go through life without needing to do maths. But then there comes a phase where you need to give back auto car change and you need to know maths.
Correct.
So right now, a relationship is like that, where I don't need to do the math and I don't want to. And when I have to count my change, I will.
How do you deal with male attention now when you get it?
I'm still a little awkward about it. I enjoy it, I'm not going to lie, because most of my teenage years have been spent being very awkward and saying, maybe I should try wearing nail polish. And then the boys will be like, hey, gee, what is this? So my whole life has been like that. So it is interesting for me, but it's, I don't really take it very seriously, to be honest.
Even now, when you've just won like the most desirable woman
I
of the
don't know
year
how that
in both
happened.
Hyderabad and in Chennai, both the places.
I don't know how that happened, but I'm very grateful and I feel very good.
I've heard that you have a specific recipe for the guy you're interested in, which you call the love pasta.
Well, I saw this on an Oprah show ages ago where there's this vodka creme love pasta. And now I make it sometimes for an extra special person with heart-shaped pasta. So apparently it really works, but here's the weird thing. So I've made it a grand total of 3 times in my life and everything was fine, and it was fine like 1 week, and then after that pasta I think gets fully absorbed and digested by the body. I don't want to be the person anymore. Maybe because I slaved in the kitchen or they didn't like the pasta enough or whatever. But it does work. It actually does work. But I think the short recipe, my version of it is sambar. I think any South Indian man will say the way to my heart and my stomach is sambar sado.
Yeah, which I keep telling you, despite all this rock chick, black and goth and everything, you are actually a Mailapur mami.
Yes,
you are
that was my
essentially
name as a kid. I am a Mailapur mami at heart.
who would like to be conventionally at home and, you know, make
No,
sambar
I'm
rice.
a new age Mailapur mami. You know, like those working mummies.
You'll still make sambar rice for your husband.
Of course, I
right?
make for myself. Forget my husband.
But talking about men, there is another very interesting theory that you have, which is the blue steel theory for men.
It's actually for women, much more useful. There was this movie, and I forget which movie, where they have this blue steel look. So me and my girlfriends were having one mundane girlfriend chat, and for some reason they were looking up to me that night for advice on how to seduce a man.
Wonder why?
No, I'm actually good at getting right to the seduction part. That meaningless flirting I've never been good at, because it's such a waste of time. It really is. So there are the different looks, because you know there's different personalities, and of course there was the blue steel look, so why it's funny is because every year after, I think every picture, like now how everyone does the ducky pout, or Japan does this, everyone. So we had this blue steel look, which is basically kind of like which is the immediate transfixing gaze.
And how much has that worked?
No, I doubt if I just went around like this all the time, that would look good. Hi, I'm Shruti.
No, but there were versions of it. There were different kinds
Yes.
of men who needed to
And
be...
then there's the man who likes the kind of graceful, the smile up, that kind of. And then there's the crazy guys, the most unrealistic men who like, I'm so happy all the time, guys. That also works, unfortunately.
And this blue steel look, has it worked for your girlfriends, or did they come back and give you a bashing after this advice?
I think it worked because we had a pose now for every picture, if nothing else. It was like selfie. So that, it worked.
music is something that really defines you
Yes.
fully, and I love music as well.
course.
And one of the common things between us is the song that I wrote and you performed, which is Alvida from
And our random late night raga jamming.
yes, Raga jammings, yes.
Yeah.
So can you just hum a little bit of Alvida for me, because I just can't stop listening to it every time.
And that's because of the beautiful words you wrote as well. And it's such a beautiful song. My throat's kind of gar-gar today. But क्योंकि तू मेरी कहानी, क्योंकि तू मेरा फसाना, मर के भी ना हम कहेंगे अलविदा.
That was so lovely, Shruti. Really,
you.
I should record it on the phone the next time we
You
meet
have the
again.
original
I know the
recording.
original, but this is just too. I don't know. It's quite
Thank you.
visceral. So OLX.in, Shruti, is a website on which you can sell anything you wish to. We are giving our viewers a chance to own something that you owned before.
Okay.
So we'll take it from you, we'll sell it on OLX.in, and the viewers can buy it from there, and the proceeds of all of that will go to charity.
Oh, that's lovely.
So what have you got for us today?
I have two things actually. So one is because it's my favorite color. It's a pink iPad cover.
Yes, your house is full of pink.
My house is like this iPad cover. And this is a set of headphones,
Wow, how
which are Snoop Dogg headphones. And I've used them but not abused them.
So you'll have to write a message for
Okay.
whoever gets it, and
I have to write a message.
to whoever will buy it. We'll sell this on OLX.in, and the viewers can buy it from there. So Shruti, give us a blue steel look now,
Okay.
because we're going to do the Medimix Look Who's Talking selfie moment.
So I dressed up for Ninja.
And for all the insights that you gave me,
Insides, not
Insides.
insides. You said inside.
I didn't say inside.
If the pen works.
It will work if you keep. It does. This always happens, but you can keep on.
Oh, there it is. Okay. ஐயோ நீ வேற ஓச்சா என்னடா பண்றீங்க நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இப்படி தமிழ்ல பேசி பேசி அப்புறம் லாஸ்ட்ல
You have to speak in English, the entire thing, the entire thing.
பாத்தீங்களா பாம்பேக்கு வந்து கெடுத்துட்டாரு.
selling has never been easier. Download the OLX application, click a picture of your product and upload. Select the category of your product. Enter your details and just click on sell. So what are you waiting for? OLX पे बेच दे.